We're just cutting a coaster. It's simple, and that's the point. It'll make us focus on all the fundamentals you need to be able to hold down your piece right, to set your zero right, and to get your cut right. If any of these things fail, then the cut will most likely fail. We're going to be taking our time in this video because there's so much to go over. So if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. We're just going to be working with a piece of 1/2" ply here, and I decided to do the origin from the center. Now, for this project, since it's just a coaster, the center means I don't have to align it perfectly. It'll always cut around, but if we're doing something that's a rectangle, you probably don't have that luxury. So this is one of the rare occasions that the center works a lot easier than the corners. If you're using the corners, I like to usually have them set up against my stops here, which I don't actually have a spacing for these ones. So we went with the center. Now the first step will be to find the center of this. And for that, we're just going to draw corner to corner. And that'll be close enough. We don't need it exactly right. We actually have what's called a lot of tolerance. We can be up or down, left or right. Now in my last video, I went over all the benefits of CA glue and blue tape. You can absolutely use hold downs, but when you use hold downs, you're going to want to have tabs that go around the coaster. And when you have those tabs, well, then you have to cut them out. I wanted this to be done once I popped it off of the spoil board. I'm going to use a 1/4" upcut end mill, which basically, as it's cutting, it takes the chips and it throws them upwards. And we'll do that for both the inner pocket and the outside. Now some people for this would be tempted to use a compression bit. Now a compression bit pushes chips up from the bottom and pushes chips down from the top, and it compresses the chips all the way around the perimeter. And a lot of people will use this as a method for work hold down, but what it doesn't do is hold round shapes. If you have squares, it does pretty well, but when you have a round shape, you have a tendency to start making the part turn once it's cut out. So we're going to stick with our 1/4" upcut and blue tape. We'll start the blue tape with just finding a nice flat spot on our spoil board. This spoil board has been nicked up quite a bit. And we want to find a flat spot because it gives you the most surface area. So once our blue tape is on our spoil board, I'm going to mark with a pen the edges. So we have our blue tape on our workpiece or our stock and our spoil board. So now I'm just going to check the alignment really quick, make sure we look pretty good. Flipped it directly over this way so I can just flip it back over and I'll know which pieces line up. For CA glue and blue tape, I like to just do a zigzag pattern. You don't want to overdo the super glue because you don't want it leaking onto your stock or your spoil board. I find that the zigzag about 1/3 of the middle works pretty well. So we'll put the CA glue on the stock and then we'll spray some kicker onto our spoil board. Get the corners lined up and press down. And with the kicker, it really holds on almost immediately. And to give it a good, I like to give it a good shake to make sure that it's on there tight. And that's on there real tight. Okay. Now our stock is firmly set to the spoil board and we're ready to start zeroing our bit. We'll power the machine on and then jog it over using the right arrow key on the laptop. To lower it, you use page down. On the laptop, I don't have it, so I actually have to press FN and down. So function page down. And we're already pretty close on this. I gave myself a lot of tolerance for where this could actually be cut on here. So this would probably be good enough, but I'm going to show you how you can get it a little bit more accurate. And there's two ways. The first way is to turn off the CNC and just use the hand wheels. If you have hand wheels on your CNC, it's actually one of the reasons I really love the Chinese CNCs. And that's just about perfect. The other way is to press Tab in Mach 3, and then you're going to press jog mode. And this will either switch to a single step or for it to actually jog. So we'll set it to a single step, and I'm going to put it at 0.1 of an inch to start. And I'm going to keep pressing it until the bit's dragging. So now it's dragging pretty good. And since I'm doing 0.1 of an inch down, so about 3 pieces of paper, that's the maximum that it'll actually go further down, which still shouldn't cut into the spoil board, but it will cut into the blue tape, which is perfectly okay for our situation. Now, I don't like to use the good old slide the paper trick under this, because in CAM, I made the thickness of the wood, the actual thickness of this wood, and I did all my programming to that thickness. So if I use a piece of paper here, we're going to be off by that thickness on the bottom. So we won't actually cut all the way through. And at that point, I might as well just use tabs. And another thing to remember is we're going to be cutting out the middle. So even if it is scratched up, it doesn't really matter because we're just gonna, well, cut it out. So that will be our 0, exactly where this is dragging. We're gonna press 0 on all the parts of Mach 3, so the X, the Y, and the Z. Then we'll load our G-code. We'll get out of our single step jog mode and go to continuous, FN up. And for this project, I'm going to be running 100 inches per minute and 200 hertz, which should be about 12,000 RPM. We'll just jog that out of the way a little bit. So while this was cutting, you probably noticed a couple things. One, I took shallow passes, both on the pocket and the outside. And I did that because blue tape isn't quite as strong as clamps. With clamps, you can really dig in as long as you have those tabs and you don't have to worry about the piece moving. But with blue tape, I like to be a little bit on the more conservative side. You can also see that there's actually a little bit of blue tape right on the bit, which is what I want to see. So we're going to pop this off and see how we did as far as guessing our alignment. I actually want to keep this. There we go. I'm going to keep the blue tape on for now. But you can see we just started scratching into the blue tape, which is exactly where we want to be with this type of cut. So one more thing that I did for this bit and the blue tape is in CAM, I left only a 20 thousandths pass for the bottom cut. This makes sure that there's not a ton of force just pushing through the wood on that final cut, and then it gives some grip to the part. Now, I didn't show this in the CAM part of the series, but what we're going to do now is a chamfer to clean up these fuzzies. You probably noticed that this is a different piece of wood than what we started with. I made two mistakes. First, I didn't tighten the chamfer bit, and then I didn't zero the chamfer bit. So So we're going to pick up where I left off like nothing happened. So I'm going to zero this with the piece of paper method this time. And I'm just going to use the hand wheel for this. Now I can feel it drag in. Perfect. So that's 0. I can turn my machine back on. I'll jog it out of the way to see what we have. And now I can pop it off. I'm very happy with that. It is mostly cleaned up, just a light sanding now, and we will have a completed coaster. We do have some fuzzies down here, which are very, very minimal. And once again, a quick sanding will take care of that. And there you have it, a perfectly made coaster, as well as a pile of not so perfectly well made coasters. Let me know if you have any questions about the process, and I'll be sure to answer. And if you learned anything from this video, make sure you follow. It helps more than you think. I'll see you for the next one.